Hi, this is Alex, and today we are going to be making a Sailor Moon style dress. So these can be used as, you can hang them up on a little string and put as like a garland. They make a really cute front to a card, or actually they make a great bookmark just as they are. As you can see by the color scheme here, I have made Sailor Mercury's as an example, but you can do whichever color scheme you want. If you're not into Sailor Moon, you can do a different outfit, just make it a school uniform, just do what you want. So this one, I have a pattern that is printed that has the 4 parts of what you're going to need. So once you print that, you can either print the bow, the collar, the skirt on colored paper, or what I've done here is I just color them in using some colored pencils. And then the bodice is, well, if you're doing Sailor Moon outfits, then it's white. Otherwise, you can do whatever color you want. And then, for my guest here, I have my first crush as a child, as a 6-year-old child watching this show. And as usual, he is going to just stand there and do absolutely nothing. So, let's get started. First thing we need to do is with the bodice. We are going to crease the diagonals. And then once we do that, we're going to open this up, flip the paper over, and crease the straight lines here. So once we get that creased, we are going to pop the center bit out and fold in along these straight lines. And you'll see that it kind of just naturally falls into this triangular shape. So once we have that, you have the open end down here and your closed point up here. So next thing, we're going to flip that over so you have the open end up top. And what we're going to do next is fold this top flap up to meet this middle crease. So you just take it and fold that upwards. And then repeat on this side. And this is going to be the front of our dress, so try and get these lines nice and straight so it looks nice. And then we're going to flip this over, and this side we're going to crease these ones to the bottom. Okay, so once we do that, we fold this up, and then you're going to want to make a crease across this to meet these 2 points. But you don't want to crease the front of your dress, obviously. So what we're going to do is just kind of gently fold it in the point. So if you just open it and kind of fold it down there, that makes it so when you fold it down, you have your guidelines of where to make your points. And that's easy to just do that, and then we're going to fold these down. So now you just have a straight line on each side. Oops, this one went a little bit crooked. You can just fix that. Okay. So you have your 2 open ends here, and then this little flap. Okay, so once we have it like this, our next step is to fold this line down to the middle. So it will look like that. And as you can see, all we're doing here is getting the right lines on the front of our bodice. So once you flip this over, then what we're going to do is fold these tips up along this diagonal and kind of tuck them into here. So just fold this up and slip it into that little pocket. Get your points nice and straight and crease that down. And it will hold itself there, and then if you look at the front you have a nice triangle. If it's not quite even, like mine is not quite even with this, these two lines are not quite matching up there, what you can do is fold this tip up so that it allows you to fold it further into that pocket. So now when I do this, I can go in a little more and I'm able to get my line straight in the front. There we go. So now it's matching up in the front. And if you are using these for a card or for something where you're going to just glue it from the back, you don't necessarily have to do this work of tucking it in and all of that. Just fold it straight up and then you can just glue it down. And nobody will see the back, so it saves you an extra step. I'm going to fold that down because this one definitely will not match up. And then slip it under. And there's the back. So now we have our bodice finished. So I'm going to set that aside for now and then start on the collar. So with the collar, it's this long strip. I do have them labeled on the instructions. So what we're going to do is we're going to, because I only colored one side, I'm going to start with the colored side down and then fold it up. And then going to, leave that folded, and then fold it this way, in half. So now we have it in half both ways. So it's a little long strip. So now we're going to unfold that, just leave the crease in the middle, and then fold this up using this crease as your guide point. And then repeat that on the other side. So now you have your close point down here, you have a little pocket back there, and these two open ends. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is bring back our bodice. So here we need to have a point where we can fit our collar. So we're going to take these top points on the front and fold them down to match up along this back line. So then we're going to open this completely, and then you're going to stick a finger in here and use that kind of to push it to be flat. And you'll notice that you have this crease here, and it should be matching up with this crease on the inside. That's the easiest way to tell where to fold it to. So same thing on the other side. Fold it flat. Okay, so now we have a nice little pocket for our collar to fit in. So what we're going to do is do here and flip it over and then insert this into the little pocket that's back here on our bodice. and just line up the gap here with your center crease. And then using this top line, you're going to crease it just a tiny bit higher than that line. So you just want it to be almost even, but not quite. I'm going to fold it so it's out like that. The same thing on the other side. Okay, so now we have this, and we're going to pull that out. If you fold this back, you'll notice that they line up. You can also just fold one side, take it out, fold it in half, use that as kind of your guide for folding it. If that's easier, definitely go for that. So now we're going to have this, so this is basically the beginning of our collar. So what we're going to do is stick it back into the bodice. Oops. It's easier to line it up on the front, get everything the way it's supposed to go. Flip it over, and then put it down. We're going to fold this part down just to make it a little thinner, a little neater for our next step. Okay, and then we're going to fold this along to match up with this white edge here, and fold that down. And then this part, we're going to take it, this is where it gets a teensy bit tricky, and we're going to stick it inside that same pocket, or you can put it inside the other pocket, whichever way is easier to make it stay. So basically all of that is now inside the back. The back is still nice and white here, and then the front has just our little collar. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And until this is completed, everything likes to move and come back out, so you have to kind of hold it in place carefully. So we're going to fold this down, and then fold it over and inside, and stick it in. Oops, and the whole thing just popped out, but that's okay. Front, just make sure everything is where it's supposed to be, and there we go. And there is our collar. Now with this one, I like to put a drop of glue just under the back here just to hold it in place, because otherwise every time you move it, the collar will come out. So I am just going to use hot glue because it dries quickest, and I'm not patient enough to wait for any other type of glue to dry. So just a little drop in there. Make sure everything is lined up. And then there. Once that cools, it's all set. So now we have the top part of our bodice complete, and the collar.